We have all these military bases all over the world. Some estimates say there are over 700, others say it's over 1,000, and no one really knows for sure. Why isn't this issue brought to light more?
I think for a number of reasons. One, beginning with the fact that the Department of Defense doesn't have an accurate accounting of all the bases they maintain around the world, including what I believe are more than 1,000 outside the United States. I think it's also just a blind spot in most of the mainstream media that they just don't pay attention, first of all, to news going on outside the United States enough, but especially to what the U.S. military is doing and what the U.S. military is spending overseas.
And, you know, to keep this current, Afghan President Hamid Karzai has admitted that he was in talks with the United States to establish permanent military bases in Afghanistan. He said, quote, the permanent U.S. military presence would bring economic prosperity and an end to violence. So here we are, footing the bill to bring economic prosperity to Afghanistan. What about bringing economic prosperity here at home?
Yeah, I think that news is deeply troubling. I think there are others who would dispute the argument that bases bring unambiguous economic benefits to communities and nations that host them. And I think an increasing number of people happily in the United States are making just the argument you made, that we're spending billions of dollars overseas when that money could be used, better used in the United States. People even on the right, the likes of Ron Paul and Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson are saying, you know, we need a Build in the United States campaign, a Build in America campaign. To take the money that we would be spending to build and expand frequently U.S. bases overseas and use it to invest in real national security needs at home, not just military, but going far beyond to some of the many things that President Obama seems to now want to cut.
And like you said, this is all coming at a time when we hear all of these people, lawmakers on Capitol Hill, saying we have to make cuts. But realistically, are they going to cut here, the military budget, and specifically when it comes to sustaining all of these bases around the world? Are we going to see cuts here?
There isn't any cut proposed on what actually is being spent this year for the next fiscal year budget. The only area that we might see some encouraging sign is in the decreased spending for the war in Iraq. But meanwhile, the spending for the war in Afghanistan continues apace.
And, you know, when you ask military folks why we need all of these bases, usually the argument is self-defense. But why maintain bases in places like Japan, Italy, and Germany? I mean, countries that are considered allies of the United States, not to mention bases on tiny little islands all over the world as well.
It's a very good question. This is where I began with the research for my book, Island of Shame, you know, asking why does the United States have a military base in the middle of the Indian Ocean? Why does the United States need one? Is it protecting the United States in any way? And I think the arguments that it is are very tenuous at best. Not to mention, why are we spending, you know, tens of millions of dollars on things like golf courses? Pentagon has somewhere on the order of 230 golf courses around the world. Couldn't we cut a few of those, close down a few of those, and put the money back into Pell Grants or housing programs or homelessness diversion programs? It seems, you know, to begin with. And then, you know, why do we have so many bases still? Over 100 bases in Germany, more than 2 decades after the end of the Cold War. You know, people, again, encouragingly, people like Nicholas Kristof have begun asking that sort of question, saying, you know, what do we fear? If we take the bases out of Germany, will Russia invade? I don't think that's likely.
And those questions are obviously important to ask, as well as, you know, how crucial those golf courses really are for our protection. Professor and author David Vine, thanks so much for your analysis today.